Welcome to O2E with Nick E, where we help your experiences go from ordinary to extraordinary. Lifetime Nation, guess who we have today? The one, the only, Susan Mystery in the house. Susan, thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Yes, I'm excited. I'm with the one and only Nick. Hello.
I'll take it. So, you might be living under a rock if you don't know who Susan is. Susan is one of our senior general managers, has been with the company 21 years, started off in Chicago, went to Westchester, otherwise known as Bestchester, won artistry there, had a gazillion other leaders win artistry, and now she is down in Palm Beach Gardens getting ready to open our brand new club in about a week and a half, 2 weeks. We didn't want to show you any of the club right now because our members haven't seen it yet. So that's why we are hidden in this back room closet in the preview center. I mean, I've known you for such a long time, and I just know the people who work for you, the people who you are able to impact, they just absolutely love you. And I've titled this podcast Leadership 101 because I don't know if there's a better overall leader that I know who just makes such an impact. And when I think about it, you cast the right performers, you have high expectations, you're a phenomenal communicator, and you build relationships like no other. So let's start with that a little bit. So you cast like the absolute best performers. Like I said, you've had so many leaders win artistry over the years. You won artistry. So talk about your people.
Yeah, I think it's really, really important. Bram says it all the time, right? He goes consistency with alignment, right? So I look when I interview a candidate, I look at the result that I'm looking for, that the candidate's going to be able to provide, right? Even in the interview, you want to hear those words extraordinary. You want to hear the experience word, right? You want to hear the passion in their voice. You don't want to hear the robotic, pre-prepared.
Sure, yeah.
Right? You want to hear the excitement, the pride, the research that they've done about the Lifetime brand, right?
Exactly.
It's like you're casting for Disney, right?
Yeah.
The play is not going to be superb if you don't have the rightly casted
Exactly.
team members. So yeah, it's in casting phase right now and identifying, and it's not a perfect world, as you know. I've had turnover, and as all
Sure.
leaders do, and I've already turned over a couple of leaders here. But it's for that reason, right? Because they didn't fit into the mold of the Lifetime way.
Yeah, and you didn't settle for that, right? You recognized it, identified it, and not just checking a box. Like, you know what? I only want the highest performers, and if you're not going to be that, then
it
see ya.
it doesn't work. But it takes courage, as you know, Nick, right?
Sure.
Because some leaders just get kind of caught in the minutia of checking the box, right? I've mentored so many of my, general managers today as well. But it's having courage to have that conversation and then, make the decision, is it a good fit or is it not? Don't procrastinate. And then am I going to result in the best performance, right? If not,
You're
you
gone.
gotta move on. Right?
Yeah, and
Right.
what I'm hearing you say is you invest in your leaders, you invest in your people.
Correct.
It's not just, go get it done, but you're
No.
really there with them
Yes.
every step of the way, encouraging,
Yes, nurturing.
nurturing.
So you got to be that teacher, right? And my background is early childhood education. And, you got to be that best coach, right? You got to teach, you got to be available, you got to have an open door policy. But you still got to align with what the expectations are. Like, I'm going to give you more than half of myself, but I expect you to bring more than half of yourself as well. Right?
It's a two-way relationship, right?
Yes.
Or it's a partnership. It's such a better way to say it.
It is.
And with that, you have really high expectations, and I love that about you because you don't settle for average. You only settle for artistry experiences at all times.
Yes.
So where does that come from?
I kind of come from that generation, Nick, right? Where, my father was my greatest mentor and, he passed away 3 years ago. But, when I was young, I remember 8, 9, 11, 12, 14, 15, I used to go into the boardroom with him, and I sat in the corner in the conference room, the boardroom, listening to him and how he mentored, his team of leaders as well. And that's what I grew up with, it's do everything with integrity, right? Do it right the first time.
Yeah.
And my father was a stickler for discipline, old school, right? I'm 63, so now you know how I'm dating myself. But I'm proud of it,
Yeah.
because I was brought up with an iron fist. But I think what I learned from Lifetime, and I remember when I joined Lifetime as a team member in 2001, the sales manager at the time, I remember he sat me down and he goes, "You're scaring people, you're too rigid, you're not open to change. It's not your way or the highway." I heard that loud and clear because I noticed the, reaction from my team members. It was not the same as, if I mentored or coached someone, back in India. It was very different, right?
Sure.
The whole culture was so different. So, I kind of softened, but I softened with accountability.
Yeah.
I kept the accountability and kept the integrity of getting the job done. But I became more of a listener. I became more of a coach.
Yeah, so you, as a leader, really listening to others around you as well too, and then making tiny, small little pivots if needed, but still kind of staying strong to other leadership attributes.
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely. Yeah. As a leader, you're the biggest student yourself, right?
Mhm.
You've got to be able to learn, grow, change, be humble, accept you're not perfect, accept the opportunity, pick a mentor. Founders Pros is one of my biggest mentors. Kevin Logan has always been a great mentor for me.
Yeah.
Jess Unquist, was also a very big mentor for me. So, pick your mentors and be a forever student, and I think that humbles you and your team recognizes that and they respect that because they know you're always striving to be the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how about, a lot of people who listen or watch this podcast could be 16, 17-year-olds, it could be college, they could be right out of college. What are some of your suggestions for them if they want to grow up the company or if they want to really just succeed as a leader in life? We heard a couple, get a mentor, listen, but what are some other tips and tricks that you may have?
Be the best version of yourself every day, right?
Yeah.
And make sure that every day you're learning one more behavior, one more skill set, one more attribute to learn how to align with the lifetime mission,
Yeah.
right? What is our lifetime mission? And if you can bring your best version of yourself and deliver that uncompromising experience, right?
So I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about March 15th. March 15th in Harrison, New York is declared Susan Mystery Day. Now, that's not anything Susan did, but because of the relationships you build, the way that you invest in others, the mayor, when you were leaving Westchester to come down to Palm Beach Gardens, declared a day after you in his town. And you were sharing the other day, you can go eat anywhere you want for free on that day. You have the run of the town. So talk to us a little bit about the Susan Mystery Day, because when I saw that on social media and everyone started to share it, I thought that was the coolest thing in the whole wide world. And I was like, I know Susan, I know her.
Yeah, it was the coolest thing. But Ron Belmont, who's, the mayor of the town of Harrison in Westchester County, New York, number one fan of Lifetime. He cut the ribbon with me at grand opening at Westchester.
Yeah.
And then he's been an avid fan, of Lifetime, taking cycle classes with us, sitting at the back with me in the last row, but singing, with the songs, the loudest, out of tune, but, it was always the loudest, creating that fun environment, and helping build that community, right? Which Lifetime is so well known for.
Yeah.
And, and then I started working closely with Harrison PD. You've got to recognize, your local forces and
Sure.
the help, the fire department and the police department and, just embrace them. Ron fell finally after 8 years when I, communicated I was moving to Florida. It kind of left a vacuum. They were like, "Oh my God, who's the PD going to go to, and who's
What are we
the
going to do?
fire department going to go to?" And it kind of made me feel quite happy that they would feel that kind
Yeah.
of deficit, and that I created those relationships. And yes, I received it, but I received it on behalf of my people, right? your founder always told me, Nick, you know, you're nowhere or no one without your people.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not a senior, I don't wear the title because of anything I did, right? I lead my people, I cast my people make me look good, right?
Yeah.
So the plaque is for my people. So I was super proud that Harrison, the Club Westchester was recognized rather than me.
Yeah, well, Susan, you're always so humble. Your wisdom is just mind blowing. Just you're so eloquent, and the just the everything behind it. It's, I mean, I was like, I should be taking notes right now. This is great. This is great. So thanks so much. We are
Thank
looking
you.
forward to you
Yes.
changing so many more lives
Yes.
as we go. Oh, thank you, thank you,
Thank you. He's the best.